Joining us this morning to discuss the Democrats' shutdown impacts on our national defense and on foreign affairs is our great chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and a decorated veteran of the U.S. Army, our good friend, Chairman Brian Mast. Brian?
Thank you, Speaker. I think everything going on, it really puts an exclamation point on the fact that we have the greatest population anywhere across the globe. I do want to start just by saying thank you to all of our workers. We have workers whose lives are being very literally affected, and they're still coming to work every day. Those are really big, amazing people. That's our American workforce. So I just want to start by saying thank you to them, all of our TSA workers, all of our air traffic controllers, our ICE, our CBP, our State Department people that I deal with, and to put a point, maybe moving to State Department, because that's what I deal with the most, about the very serious stakes of what is going on right now. Not just with people's lives and them not being able to pay their bills, but with what's going on across the globe. To juxtapose these positions, we have President Trump in Asia right now, very literally trying to make sure that the United States of America is not cut off from rare earth minerals or other things, which is what China is literally trying to do. That's why there was a threat of another 100% tariff, because China was sending around letters saying, all you neighboring countries don't sell to America. So the president is abroad trying to protect our homeland. And we have Democrats here at home doing everything that they can to weaken our homeland. That's a difference of values. And the stakes of those values is the future of the greatest country on the face of this earth. We should pray that our adversaries would be stupid enough to say they're going to prioritize funding feminism in Africa over the food stamps of their own people. They're not that stupid, but apparently Hakeem Jeffries is, and that's a real problem for all of us here. I was on the phone with an ambassador this morning. I'm not going to say where, but we have requests for people to leave embassies abroad because of very real threats that are going on. The people in that embassy are right now trying to figure out if they have cash funding to get fuel for vehicles or to have diesel to put in their generators because they don't have reliable electricity in the places that they're in. Those are the real world consequences. While they're also worrying about their paycheck isn't coming in, can their family back home buy groceries, pay their bill for student loans, pay for the fuel to get their kids to school, or the tuition at their children's school, or all the other things that they have to worry about while they're worrying about can they even get out of country. So those are the difference of values. I guess I would close it by saying this. We need 5 Democrat senators to pull their heads out of their asses and go work for the United States of America.
Hi, folks. I'm back in Washington again this week. My Democratic colleagues and I are here to work. We want to get Congress reopened. We want to get the House back in session, but unfortunately, our Republican colleagues are still on vacation, drinking umbrella drinks as we start into week 5 of Trump's government shutdown. This is about to get even uglier for millions of Americans because at the beginning of November, Donald Trump has decided to stop paying SNAP benefits to about 40 million of the most vulnerable families in this country. This is something that we think is illegal. The funding is there to continue those SNAP benefits, enough money in a contingency fund to get us through to about Thanksgiving. He's choosing not to do it. These are the same Republicans who just voted in the biggest cut to the SNAP nutrition program in the history of that program. And now Donald Trump is singling out the most vulnerable families in America to try to play politics during this government shutdown. So look, we're going to continue to fight for your health care, for a sensible, fair budget. We want the Republicans to sit down and negotiate with us. Bottom line, Democrats are here to work. We want to reopen the government. We want to save health care in the cuts. We need Republicans to get off their vacation, get off their asses, and get back here to the Capitol to get the government back open.
Donald Trump and Republicans are threatening to cut off SNAP benefits, nutritional assistance for millions of Americans. You might be wondering, why am I standing in front of the statue of an Iowan? But Dr. Norman Borlaug, as you see, was the father of the Green Revolution, an agronomist who did more than anyone to increase global food production and prevent hunger. But we're facing a crisis in this country right now. Donald Trump and Republicans, rather than negotiating a bipartisan agreement to address healthcare costs and reopen the government, are threatening to cut off SNAP benefits, nutritional assistance for millions of Americans. The truth is, the money is there. There's a contingency fund for exactly this kind of circumstance. But Trump wants to spend $40 billion to bail out his buddy in Argentina, $300 million to build a golden ballroom while he lets families and kids go hungry in this country. It's time for Speaker Johnson to call Republicans back from their paid vacation so we can negotiate a bipartisan agreement to address healthcare costs, address SNAP funding, and reopen the government.
Reuters is just reporting that Speaker Mike Johnson has said that he has discussed the limits of the U.S. Constitution with President Donald Trump and told him that there was not enough time to amend the founding document to allow the Republican a third White House term. What say you about the current state of this Trump train that desperately wants a third term?
You know, I don't even want to give it any attention. I mean, my focus is right now, we got to get the government open, we got to deal with the healthcare, and we got to win in 2026. I mean,
Is that how you win a swing district? Just like that?
Yeah, let's
you say, I don't want to do it.
Let's focus on what matters right now. This is,
Okay.
I always say that Trump is a master of distraction, like a pickpocket. And what pickpockets do is one person comes in and bumps into you. And when you're getting bumped into, you're like, oh, looking at the person bumping into you. And the other person picks your pocket. So whenever something matters is going on, the president does a great job of distracting us from that topic so we don't talk about what's really going on.
Republicans are voting to open up government, right? Because we know it's the right thing. Pay our military, make sure people get food stamps, make sure our FAs paid, all these things. We can always have a conversation on how we improve things. Like I want to make sure everybody gets health care, right? But the way you do it is you don't mask the cost of Obamacare. That's what they want to do. They don't want to tell people, oh, we don't want to tell you how much Obamacare is going up because it's a complete failure. I want to fix health care. They don't want to. And they don't care that people are going to lose food stamps this weekend. They don't care that people are missing paychecks. But they want to keep their paychecks because they will not support my bill, no budget, no pay.
It's the wannabe assembly.
Thank you.
We need you here. We really need you. We need your voice. I've watched you in your campaign and what you're doing. You're going to be an extraordinary voice.
Yep.
Come here, get started. What's happened?
Well, nothing. I mean, literally, it's been 29 days since my election. 29. And for 3 other members elected in specials, they were sworn in under 24 hours. And so I don't think that it's a stretch to say that because I would be the 218th signer to the Epstein files that I am in this sort of congressional limbo that I'm in. But I would like to do my job.
We need you to do your job. Not just because you're the 118th, but because you're a sound, solid voice.
Thank you.
We need you here. So I'm going to stomp my feet, I'm going to yell and shout, and Speaker, don't get me near the Speaker.
Thank you. I
We can
appreciate
make
the
this
support.
happen. We'll put all of our voices together and we continue to bang on him. He's simply a puppet for Trump. Trump's got the little strings, he's playing them. It's disgusting. And there's so many other things we got to deal with.
Yes, we have a lot to work on, so I'm very eager to get sworn in so we can get to work. One more vote.
You're the one more vote.
Aw,
We'll
thank
make
you.
it happen.
Thank
Let's
you
do
so
it.
much.
Let's do it.
Thank
The onus of this shutdown falls squarely on the shoulders of Democrats. The House of Representatives, we have done our jobs. We did it 28 days ago when we passed a clean CR and sent it over to the Senate. The Senate Democrats are holding our country hostage. My heart goes out to those who are in need, those who in my district, who I'm talking to on a daily basis, who are terrified that they are not going to receive their SNAP benefits, WIC benefits. Those are real fears that we are having real conversations with people in my own district. That falls squarely on the shoulders of the Democrats. All they have to do is pass that clean CR, reopen the government so we can get back to work for the American people.
Minnesota.
Mr. President, in conclusion,
I want to say this. One, thank you to Senator Kaine and Senator Warner, the two senators from Virginia, for their leadership on this important resolution. Senator Wyden for all of his work, Senator Rand Paul and others who have stood with us, who have stood with capitalism, who have stood with this idea that trade matters and that our country is stronger when we do business and sell our goods across the seas and to our friendly neighbors like Canada. Let me start with Canada. As the head of the interparliamentarian group with Canada, I spent a lot of time working with the Canadians. It is one embassy years ago when America was disliked by a lot of countries that displayed on their embassy huge banners that said friend, ally, partner. For so many of our states, they are our biggest trading partner. They fought alongside us in 2 world wars. They are our partner in NATO. They worked with us together on supply chains and getting them back working after the pandemic. They are setting new historic goals. Canada is to contribute to our collective defense, planning to triple defense spending over the next decade. So what does this administration do? Slap them with a 35% tariff? And then, just because the president woke up in the morning and didn't like an ad that quoted a beloved Republican president, Ronald Reagan, didn't like it, he says, well, I'm going to give him 10% more. Yet this is a country with which we share a trade agreement that this president negotiated with Mexico and Canada. If you want to make changes, like for dairy or other things, do it in the review of that agreement. Don't do it like this to a neighbor and friend. Secondly, what do these tariffs mean to America, mean to the people in our country? Combined, they've been changed over 100 times. Total chaos. Inflation is up. Manufacturing jobs are down. Small farm bankruptcies are at their highest level in 5 years, and every senator in this chamber has heard from their beef producers or heard from their soybean farmers what is happening right now. As one of my farmers called it, a perfect storm of ugly. For an individual family right now, these tariffs mean a $2,000 tax per family. Tools are up. Audio equipment costs more. This is the effect of this tariff policy on individual families in America. So we can have high-ended debates here, but at home they're looking at their grocery prices, they're looking at their markets, their family farms that they spent a century, they're the next in line to take it over, drying up. That's what these tariffs are about. Then finally, this president cannot keep abusing his power like this. There is a reason, when you look at the numbers, who supports this resolution. United Steelworkers, International Association of Machinists, North America's Building Trades Unions, the AFL-CIO, the Chamber of Commerce, the National Taxpayers Union, the National Retail Federation, have all endorsed this resolution. But unfortunately, with a few exceptions, our friends on the other side of the aisle are just rubber stamping what this president wants. Well, it is time for us to stand up. This vote is about reasserting Congress's constitutional role. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution gives Congress, not the president, the power to impose tariffs and regulate commerce with foreign nations. We must stand up for American workers, businesses, and consumers, and remind our allies and ourselves that America keeps its word. I yield the
This is a critical program. It affects 42 million Americans across the country, nearly 3 million in my state of New York. That is why the House passed a clean extension of existing funding with no politics, no gimmicks, no attempts to add outside unrelated policy, because we realize the pain that it would cause if we went into a shutdown. Nonetheless, here we are. And I would urge these states to tell their senators to vote for this clean extension. They voted for it 4 times before. Senator Schumer negotiated the language, the funding levels. They had more say than the Republicans did because Joe Biden was president at the time. And so this is so unnecessary, the pain that we're seeing. With that said, I would like to see the administration do whatever it can, obviously, to ease the pain. We saw President Trump come in already to make sure that the Women, Infant, Children, the WIC program, which is another supplemental nutrition program, was funded so it wouldn't impact those young families. We saw him also come in to pay our troops. But these are Band-Aids. These are not the solution. The solution is for Senate to do its job and pass this clean extension, just like we've been calling for, just like the American Federation of Government Employees has been calling on, the air traffic controllers and the airline pilots unions have been calling for, because the pain is really going to start if the Senate just does not stop playing their shenanigans. And my, unfortunately, senator from New York, Senator Schumer, is the lead who's playing this political game.
I'm here today to introduce and thank my friend for taking on the responsibility. It's a privilege today for me to introduce an extraordinary leader and a trusted friend, Arjun Modi, and he is joined with his wife, Ami, who is here. She's an ER physician, so she knows a lot about healthcare. His daughter, Isha, and his daughter, Isla. Thank you for being here today. I'm glad that you're here to support your dad. Arjun's been nominated to serve as the Deputy Commissioner of the Social Security Administration. I think in choosing Arjun, President Trump has chosen the very best. I've known Arjun for 15 years. He's a leader who has shaped my work here in the Senate. He's run 3 of my Senate leadership offices, and in each one, he didn't just manage them, he transformed how we serve the members of this body. Done a magnificent job. Prior to that, he honed his skills working for Senator Elizabeth Dole of North Carolina and Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson of Texas. When you hire staff, you need people you can trust absolutely, and I trust Arjun absolutely. And he has earned the trust in moments both big and small. Here's the truth about Arjun. When something that needs to get done, he gets it done, and he does it with excellence. He doesn't just know policy and process. He knows people. He understands people. He listens to people. He doesn't just build high-impact teams. He builds loyalty among the teams. Doesn't just work hard. He works well with everyone. And when the stakes are the highest, he delivers the results. I watched Arjun take on the toughest challenges and find solutions that other people have missed. He's come away and, my God, this was actually going to work, and it works. And that's exactly what Social Security needs right now. We heard the story about someone calling and waiting on hold and not having their phone answered and then going to disconnect. Arjun knows how to solve problems. For 90 years, Americans have relied on Social Security, not just for income, but for the independence that they've earned. They count on the Social Security check. They count on that to keep the roof over their heads, to put food on the table. And it's a promise that the American people deserve to be kept, and it's a promise that matters, and it needs leaders who understand the importance and the challenges of this. So Arjun's going to modernize the Social Security Administration. He's going to strengthen the core mission. He's going to ensure that payments are timely, are accurate, and secure. And at the same time, he's going to work with this committee and across the government. He's going to collaborate with people. He's going to communicate to people. And most importantly, he will never forget that behind every case number is actually a person. Every beneficiary matters, whether they're a senior, a survivor, or someone with disabilities. Social Security works because Americans can trust it month after month, year after year. And with Arjun, that trust is in capable hands. I've trusted Arjun to lead my staff. The President has trusted him to strengthen Social Security, and now I urge my colleagues on this committee, on both sides of the aisle, to trust him with their support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And with that, it is now my honor and pleasure to introduce my good friend and a leader in Congress, Representative Shontel Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to Assistant Democratic Leader Congressman Neguse for organizing this press conference and for inviting me to be here. I am Congresswoman Shontel Brown, proudly representing Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. I serve as Vice Ranking Member on the House Agriculture Committee, where we've been on the front lines fighting attacks on basic food benefits all year. Now, we're here today because the President is illegally blocking $6 billion in emergency SNAP funding, money available and intended for moments exactly like this. Why? In some cynical attempt to increase leverage so they don't have to fix the healthcare crisis they've created. They're forcing American families to go hungry rather than lowering healthcare costs. I wish I could say I was surprised. But this is the same president and Republican Congress that made the largest cuts to SNAP and Medicaid earlier this year to pay for tax breaks for the wealthiest Americans. That made those tax breaks for billionaires permanent, but refused to extend enhanced premium tax credits for even 1 year. And that found $20 billion for a bailout for Argentina, but is freezing $6 billion sitting in the SNAP contingency fund. 21% of the people in my district rely on SNAP to keep food on the table. That's 1 in 5. So when it comes to Trump's illegal SNAP shutdown, I take this personally because the people I represent do not deserve the pain and stress and anxiety and hunger that this is going to cause. Last week, we held an event in my district at a local grocery store. And a woman there named Diane spoke about what SNAP means to her. She's not just a woman, she's a pillar in the community, spending many of her days advocating for others. And I've not been able to stop thinking about what she said. She's 75 years old, lives in public housing, and gets $63 a month in SNAP benefits for food. And she needs every dollar of that to survive. Standing at the supermarket, she looked at the food laid out: a package of ground beef, some canned food, some fruit, and a loaf of bread. She pointed out she already isn't able to afford that much on her budget. Diane does not deserve this. And somebody in the White House, somebody in Speaker Johnson's office, they may think this is a brilliant strategy that they have to threaten Diane and to take from Diane, but I'm going to call it out for what it really is. It is cruel. It is callous. It is careless. It is immoral. And it is illegal. See, this is what happened when people in power only care about people with perceived power. It is time for the White House to release the funds. It is time for Republicans to take the locks off the doors of the House chamber. And instead of doing the extreme right-wing thing for Donald Trump, it is time for my Republican colleagues to do the right thing for the people we represent. Reopen the government, release the funds, and cancel the cuts. And with that, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the Congresswoman from New Mexico, Melanie Stansberry.
It's my number one priority in this Congress is to have President Trump's back and help him secure our border. 2017, we lost my little brother Luke to fentanyl poisoning. He was only 20 years old. It changed everything for our family. Today, fentanyl is the leading cause of death among young adults, and enough is enough. No more dangerous, illegal aliens parading around with no consequences. February the 7th is a painful reminder that my brother shouldn't be here. How do you respond to an invasion? With action. Today, we were on the floor debating the Halt Fentanyl Act. This is common sense legislation that would stop fentanyl from coming across our border. It makes historic investment in our country's border security. If you don't believe me, or if you scoff at that notion, then I ask you to learn about how many families, like mine, have lost a loved one to fentanyl smuggled across our southern border. President Trump is leading the charge to restore order. The safety of law-abiding Americans is more important than the demands of foreign criminals. I lost my little brother, and I'm in Congress so that you don't have to lose yours.
You have the members of the House of Representatives getting paid not to show up. And then you have the rest of the federal workforce having to show up and not get paid. Open enrollment starts on Saturday, and about 24 million Americans, just so happens most of them are in states that supported Donald Trump, are about to face roughly a doubling of their health care costs. And for some people, it'll be like a 30% increase, and some people it'll be a 70% increase, and for some people it'll be like a threefold increase in their health care costs. I remain flabbergasted that the national legislature has basically adjourned under Mike Johnson's leadership. He's not even trying anymore because he thinks it increases his leverage. Costs are about to double for tens of millions of Americans on the healthcare side. Electricity is going up at double the inflation rate. Vegetables are up 39%. Coffee is up 30 to 40%. And now there won't be enough food. I implore everyone on every side of the aisle to just sit down and negotiate this. Let's get the House back in town. Let's turn on these SNAP benefits. Let's fix this ACA problem, and let's turn the federal government's lights on.
13 years ago, I remember the night Superstorm Sandy devastated our communities. Hundreds died. Thousands and thousands of homes were wrecked.
Millions lost power.
And to this day, some communities were never made whole.
As a member of Congress from New York, from Maryland,
From Connecticut,
from New York,
from New Jersey,
from Brooklyn, from Maryland, from Rhode Island, I've seen how extreme weather is turning millions of people's lives upside down
and costing us billions in damage.
We know that climate change isn't an issue for the future. It's a right now problem.
Climate change is happening everywhere.
And it can happen to anyone.
But unfortunately, the Trump administration's attacks are making us more vulnerable and less prepared.
Cuts to the National Weather Service and NOAA leave Americans in the dark when dangerous extreme weather is headed their way.
Gutting FEMA stalls getting boots on the ground in the critical hours after disaster strikes,
putting lives at risk.
And they're abandoning EPA's mission to protect us from the pollution that's turbocharging these disasters.
It's dangerous, reckless, and will cost lives.
We can't go back.
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 We cannot go back.
Superstorm Sandy was one of the first major climate disasters to hit the Northeast.
But it won't be the last.
We won't stand by while Trump jeopardizes our safety, our health, our economy, and our future.
So he can give kickbacks to his billionaire buddies.
We need to keep investing in our communities and limiting pollution that causes climate change.
Protecting our planet means protecting our people.
And we need to fund and staff the agencies that keep us safe from deadly storms like Sandy.
Reached day 23 of the ongoing government shutdown, and there is still no end in sight. Today, the Senate failed to advance a GOP bill that looked to pay essential federal workers who are still working as the shutdown continues. In a news conference today, U.S. Senator Shelley Capito said she planned on voting on that bill, which is known as the Shutdown Fairness Act. However, it ended up falling short with a 54 to 45 vote. 3 Democrats crossed the aisle. Capito says her hope moving forward is that the government can reopen by November.
I hope that everybody comes to their senses and reopens the government shortly after November the 1st, and we can move on. It's going to be almost too late to change anything and to negotiate anything in the healthcare insurance premium aspect, because those dates are, they've now wasted, 3 weeks when we could have been negotiating this.
Democrats have argued that today's bill would give the president broad authority over who gets paid and who doesn't. They offered their own pair of bills that would have paid federal workers, but Republicans objected that.
Hi, it's Paul here outside the White House, and you can see behind me evidence of equipment that is part of the demolition of the east wing of the White House and the construction of a ballroom, a $300 million ballroom that has been a priority for the president, along with bailing out Argentina with $40 billion, helping his cronies in Argentina. Mr. President, those are the wrong priorities. Meanwhile, nutrition programs are being cut. Our children, our veterans, our seniors, to the tune of 42 million people will be hurt because of the lack of nutrition programs, and tens of millions will lose access or affordability to healthcare coverage. We must do better. Instead of traveling around the world, travel down Pennsylvania Ave, bring Congress to the table, bring yourself to the table, and let's finish this shutdown, put it out, and come up with the right priorities.
Why not take that route?
I think the idea that you would give up all of your leverage and then hopefully get some sort of great deal coming down the pike is just a fool's errand.